Yo, what is up everyone? It's justjonmckin and I'm back for another video. And in this video, I just want to talk about how to deal with something called imposter syndrome. So just to explain what imposter syndrome is, it is a syndrome where you're basically thinking that you don't deserve to be in a certain position, area, environment. You just feel like you don't belong. Believe it or not, that is actually very a common thing to think. So yeah, medical news today even states that up to 82% of people, like just in their lifetime, experience imposter syndrome at some point. It can last a week, it can last a year, it can last a decade even. And it can just last, and yeah, it varies from person to person. You can't really compare, oh, this person got over or was out of it by this time, so there may be something wrong with me if I didn't get out of it by this certain time. That is not the case at all, trust you me. So I think one of the best ways to deal with this is to be as proactive as possible with hitting this on the head. And here's just 3 different things you can do so you can at least just lower the amounts of levels that you kind of feel imposter syndrome and be even more confident in knowing in whatever role or position you're going after, whether you know this is something you want to do or you know that this is something you definitely don't want to do. It's all a part, again, of, yeah, there's just so many different benefits from doing these 3 different things. So number one of the first things you can do to offset imposter syndrome is, 1, realize who you are, is to know who you are. Know what you've done, know what you accomplished, know where you come from. A lot of people cut themselves short, and they don't, and they're just really quick to just pull away and just hide everything that they've done to get to the certain point that they are at right now in life. And that can just tear you down in so many different ways. Those different things got you here. Those different things are a part of you, so you should not hide those things. Those different things can actually be tapped into to give you a sense of comfort that, hey, I actually worked really hard to be here. Hey, I actually sacrificed a lot to get to this point. Those different things that you could be pulling away, those different things that you're pulling away can just be making it all worse. So one of the first things absolutely is to just know who you are and what you have done. There's nothing wrong with being confident and proud and proud in the things that you've done, and helping that ensure you that you deserve to be wherever you are, in whatever environment, whatever position, whatever place you are at. So that's number 1. So it is not arrogant, it is not cocky, it is none of that to do those different things. Now there is a line to it, to the point that, again, just believing so hard in a way that you deserve to be somewhere and you're not exactly performing to the standard that you need to perform at because you're just too caught up in your own head. You don't want to be in that position. This should just be more of a thing in a mindset that you should be using to kind of just get yourself, relaxed, get yourself, in a more calm state, so you can perform just as good as you perform to get to and do those different things that you were doing before. Do it even better and bigger. Alright, so number 2, spend even more time working at whatever field, position, thing you're pursuing. Spend more time doing that thing, because the more time you practice, the more time you put in. Again, Kobe Bryant is an excellent example of all the hours that he put into basketball. He wanted to make sure he was the last person leaving outside of the gym. He wanted to make sure people saw him in there first. You put in so much work, you know that you just know in your heart how hard you work. And it goes with this first point, but this is just another actionable thing you can do, is literally by spending more time into that craft of doing the things you do, it creates more confidence in yourself, to the point that you don't have to have these self-belittling thoughts that kind of lower you down. You can just literally have thoughts of just saying, hey, I know what I've done. I know what I did behind the scenes. I know all of the work that I put in when nobody was looking. I know I showed up even before it was required for me to show up. This is just the grand performance for everybody to see what I was doing. So that is just another way that you can kind of combat imposter syndrome. So that, yeah, putting in more work and just being more tapped and focused into whatever you're doing, that could just take you skyrocket ahead with eliminating imposter syndrome. Because again, you know the work that you're putting in. Again, I keep saying it over and over again, but you know the work you're putting in, and trust me, when you know the work you put in, kind of based off of my first point, the doubt is very little that it's gonna be there, because you know what you've done, especially if you've done things beyond what the average would do for whatever you're doing. All right, so my last point for things to help get over imposter syndrome is just knowing. A lot of these things is just knowing you're in your head, but just knowing that everybody has a learning curve, and no matter where you are, if you're somewhere higher than you think you should be, or you're in a position that seems like that high of a regard, or you know, the position that is just like very looked upon, and maybe you're just not getting things as immediate as people would expect, or if again you're possibly even looking at other people on that position or that level, and you're saying like, hey, like I'm not doing what they're doing, or they asked me this question and I had no idea how to even answer it, or there was this situation I had no idea how to handle it, and it's just realizing everybody has a learning curve. It's okay to not always know. Now the key thing that either again you dig deeper into imposter syndrome, or you kind of just combat this proactively, is just knowing that again these are times and these are situations where you could take something from it. Like, okay, like I don't know how to do this certain thing, but hey, let me ask a question to somebody who's been here before. Let me ask someone on my same level, like, hey, like, did you know, what was your thought process on like how to best go about and handle that? Like, a plan you had was just very simplified to what was actually needed or whatnot. It just applies for everything, sports, business, it applies to everything, literally. Just know that you have a learning curve. And one of the best things to combat this is to not be a brick. You know, you want to absorb, you want the maximum, you want to absorb a lot of things that you can learn from, not basically just pushing them away and then just dealing with the thought of, oh my gosh, I didn't know what that was, and not dealing with it head on. And a lot of these things, it just comes from just really hitting this head on, like one of the best proactive ways to go about dealing with this. So you being a sponge, listening to somebody who has more insight than you, or again, just even behind the scenes, maybe something you didn't quite know well as work. And it builds off my other 2 points is like making sure that you take the time to ask the questions, to understand, and just taking it as a learning experience. Stop being too hard on yourself. Like, everybody has a learning curve, no matter what position that they got in, and I feel like why I chose these different 3 is these 3 build upon each other, because once you master the first one, it kind of goes into the second one, and then it goes into the third one. And I can just tell you about the majority of successful, again, confident people in the world, they embody these 3 different things. Because they just realize, again, that they're never going to know everything, and that there is a continuous process of putting in the work and learning that's going to make them feel comfortable in the position of where they are. And that's really what life is, no matter what kind of field you're in. As long as you stay on top of that, your continuous learning journey, and you're always on improvement to be better, you're honestly just going to be more comfortable and more in tune with yourself with whatever position and role you're doing. Just as a summary though, imposter syndrome is something that, can go off and on. No, sometimes, again, people do, even the greatest athletes, business people, they have that feeling just come on to them for a couple seconds, minutes, hours, and just know that it's a very normal thing. Like I said, over 80% of people, this typically happens to, and trust me, it doesn't just happen once in your lifetime. Like, oh, once I do this stuff, it'll probably never happen again. No, it's a feeling that may come, and the goal of doing these different things is when it comes, we want it to go as fast as it just came, but it's okay to have that feeling, because usually if you're having that feeling, there's also a sign that you're doing something a little bit right. You're out of your comfort zone. You're in a position maybe somewhere you've never seen yourself being before. It's something that is moving your life forward in a sense, in a good way. So that's just a positive way to think about this. But yeah, that's just 3 different ways to kind of tackle imposter syndrome. Let me know what other ways you guys use to tackle this. Leave in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I want to put some lifestyle content on here as well, since we're self-development, tech, and lifestyle. I want to put some self-development stuff on here as well, since this channel is tech, self-development, and lifestyle. So like the video, leave a comment down below. And if you really like my channel in this video, make sure you subscribe, because we got more content on the way. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.